Title of this poem is Street Hymns. Dimes on the loud pads, ready and straight. Perkies, perkies. These are the mantras of the street life, and their orators are none other than the young people of today. Their tales are so illustrious it will put to shame Shakespeare, Plato, and all others, and their whack names. They don't got nothing on the young people of today. Their words hold such influence that it causes the masses to swarm like kids to a corner store. These words carry so much power, the people become hypnotized under their influence. This language, known only to the audience and actors, is nothing more than a language of death. For this language kills all that it is known to, from the dealer to the player. It is the sickest game of poker that you'll ever see. And there shall be no winner because this game was rigged from the start and will never be right because it was always fixed from the beginning.
Freddie Gray is only like a few blocks up the street. What happened with Freddie Gray? In Sandtown. That's where I'm from.
My name is Shakir Franklin. I'm 12 years old. I walk to school, and it's not that far.
My mother's scared for us sometimes because we know a lot of people that got killed.
I was so bad.
I used to run the halls. I didn't listen to teachers. I just didn't do what I was supposed to do.
Now we're going to do the Scholar of the Year, and it is absolutely amazing. And he doesn't know that he's getting this, but he actually won Scholar of the Year, Shakir Franklin.
Oh my God! I'm crying. I'm not crying.
So proud of you.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Seventh grade is surprising. It's kind of hard because we have to make sure we do just about everything right because we have to get a very good score so we can go to the high school that we want to. And I want to go to one of the top high schools. I love to read, and that's my main strength. I love to read and I have a very good memory, so those go hand in hand. I'll read something and then I'll remember it forever. I sit at the front of the class, and like my hand is always going up, my hand is always going up, my hands is always going up. 8th grade is different because this is like that year, like that really important year that decides, for the most part, what my life is gonna be. It's because, you know, like we get our composite scores and our high school choice.
Like trusting yourself is probably our golden rule when it comes to testing. And I have to identify what is the author.
I get really nervous and I'll just be like, shh, I don't want to do this. I know. And sometimes I'll put my head down, but it's just because I guess like I'm not taught, like I'm not like getting trained how to take a standardized test.
I would tell you this, Shakir, I think that you are capable of doing anything you want to do, okay?
Yes.
So whatever you want to do is just a matter of you having 3 things: self-discipline, self-confidence, and self-determination.
Thank you, Mr. Davioin.
You're all good. It's all good, man. All the best to you.
Most definitely. The high school I got accepted into is Bard, and I'm really excited because it's a college prep school. And it's just like, for me, it's one step closer to getting what I want to be, a public defense attorney. 8th grade and middle school as a whole has been very defining in my life. Simply because
For the most part, I feel like for me, it has decided what type of individual I'm going to be throughout my life. The high school that I attend is Bard High School, Early Colleges in Baltimore. I like it because of the way that the high school is. We are very independent at Bard because they consider it early college. I love challenges, and going to Bard, every day you walk in the doors, you know you're going to be faced with a new challenge. And just the thought of that keeps me wanting to go there every single day.
And if there's more of a relevance between like what
Dr. Ore teaches the best subject in the world, teaches literature of the Americas.
you will read Three Musketeers, not because we talked about it and I suggested right, and you will spend time doing that, but you won't read the stuff that I assigned for class.
It got me that like a teacher was reading something like that, and I wanted to check it out. When I look at you, I don't see like a teacher, I see like Dr. Ore, you know, you kind of different. Well, I just finished reading American Gods for the third time by Neil Gaiman, and currently I'm reading The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas, and I'm really, really happy to be reading this because my teacher told me about it. After I'm done with this, I'm going to read the Three Musketeers. That's also by Alexander Dumas. But Alexander Dumas, his mom was like Haitian African, I think, and his dad was from France or Paris. I can't remember which. And everybody all over Europe loved Alexander Dumas, even though he was a black guy. When we like started talking in class and you recommended the book to me, I was like, I want to check it out.
Okay.
Just tried to like get a little more knowledge.
Okay, so maybe I should stop assigning books and just start recommending books that I want you to read for assignments.
I already read all of the ones for the school year. I always kind of struggle with doing homework because I feel like if I know I'm going to get an A on the test, which is really bad, like I shouldn't need to do the homework.
Certainly, Shakir is smart enough. That's apparent from day one. The things that he talks about, the references that he makes, like what is he reading? Who is he talking to? Specifically, like his poetry. It was everything that we would expect out of a Bard-type student. I have to ask myself as a teacher, what am I missing here that he has devoted clearly so much time and effort into this productive intellectual work, but yet those things that you say, like he can't get to class on time, he can't complete his assignments. Shakir is a very complicated student. It is a challenge. The best that I can do is to show him why it's important. You're always going to confront things that you don't want to do, but for better for the long term, think long term. Matt, think about like how success in this place can give you a platform to do whatever it is you want to do after.
So Shaq's one of the smartest people I think I've ever met, and he's very similar to me where things that come naturally to him, I think he throws himself into, he really excels at it, and things that don't come naturally to him, he kind of shies away from it. I think he sees his future without really seeing the path to get there. I think there is certainly a disconnect between what has to be done to get where he wants to go and what he is actually doing.
As I was walking through the building, as I was like looking into the rooms, I didn't really see a lot of like black presence. It was kind of like saddening to me, and I felt underappreciated. And on a state level and on a city level as well, I just feel really underappreciated sometimes.
But I think,
Today we met Senator Jill Carter. She's a really awesome lady. Her father was Walter P. Carter, and he helped shape Baltimore into what it is today.
do we have a lawyer in the house?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Fist bump. How about a legislator? How about a senator or a mayor or a governor or a congressperson? There we go, fist bump again.
If I was a senator in West Baltimore, I would want to bring up most definitely police reform, education issues, economical issues such as like, minimum wage and health care. Just because, we're already disadvantaged people. And it seems as if every year we become more and more so disadvantaged when we're supposed to be going the opposite way,
What's the reason that I decided to be in the legislature? Not because I love politics so much, but because it's an opportunity to make and shape policy. That was the issue.
Jill Carter, her name is People's Champion because she's just helped Baltimore out. And I really saw the passion in her eyes and how she loved us. There has been a bill that has been brought up. It's Bill 884, talking about police officers, arming police officers in the school system, in Baltimore City school system. And I am completely against that bill simply because school is my home.
So I'm opposing that bill if we get a chance to vote on it. It's come up so many times.
Yeah.
And we've killed it all the time.
They see my skin and they see what my skin color is, and I'm automatically seen as a target for that. As soon as they see my skin color, as soon as I walk out my door, I'm a target, and I'm a target until I get to school. So if I walk through the door and this little bullseye on the back of my back is still there, and I'm all against that bill 100%.
It's not enough to just resist or have a protest. You have to actually be able to shape policy. And one of the ways you do that is you get people elected that will actually represent your interest. And the other way you do it is that you potentially run or serve in office yourself.
It inspired me to get back on track, just to start taking care of everything that I've been slacking on.
For a lot of these kids, I can see how they're probably the smartest person in their family, but in that family come from a lot of chaos. What I wish most for Shakir is that he finds his truth and he's able to live it freely. I think that's what Shakir wants to be for himself, right? Because that's a story in there. There's a story of resilience. There's a story of self-reliance, a story of just humanity and coming of age in a place like this.
I consider myself the optimist because I'm always joyful. You'll never find me in a downward mood because I've been in that mood so many times. I don't want to experience again. I want to spread the joy, spread the love. I got taken away from my mother, and once I got taken away from my mother, it was kind of hard to find where I could fit in at. And when I was living with my dad, it was like we were living in basically the ghetto. My mother, she had some ups and downs in her life, and it was very difficult for me to get over that. The fact that you know what your mother doing and you know that it's wrong, but you can't help her. My mother's been on drugs, and it was real hard for me because I didn't know what she was doing. I would be worried because of my height, because of the way I look, because I'm black, so they might assume that I have a weapon, or if I try to put my hands up, they might just shoot me, or it's because they take police brutality to a whole new level when it comes to blacks. As black people, you're supposed to stay strong, but they're separating themselves over gangs, over money and drugs. So they made us to put it at a level where we don't even like ourselves. So I play basketball over there with my friends, but there's a lot of killing and drug dealing going on up here. There's a lot of drug dealing going on at that store right there. Staying in school and getting your work done is way more positive than selling drugs. So that's gonna help. Me staying in school is gonna help me basically get beyond West Baltimore. It's gonna help me do my dreams. To me, if you're African American, if you're black and you and you make it and you're successful, to me that's kind of you telling everybody I proved them wrong. You got people that want you to fail in life, and then you got people that want you to succeed. school. I feel as though if I stay at Green Street, they're going to know what I'm good at. They're going to know what areas I need to improve on. And I know that they're going to thrive to make me be the best child I can be. I'm in the 9th grade and I go to Green Street Academy. I don't live in the safest area. I live up Emerson Village. You know, it's very dangerous. It takes me, well, if I'm walking to school from my house, it takes me 30 minutes. It doesn't really matter what the weather is, because I'm used to walking, so whatever, I'll walk through it. High school very different from middle school. We do a lot of different things. One, you gotta do some things by yourself. You gotta learn how to be independent. I take school a lot more serious than I did in 8th grade. I'm trying to maintain an A to a B, you know, this semester. I feel like me taking school serious now will pay off in the long run.
What are some strategies that we can use to get to what we want, what outcome? That was your first step?
Math is my favorite subject, mainly because of my teacher. His name is Mr. Carter, and the other 5 are they're opposites of each other.
Okay, so go ahead and show me what you got. Start there, and then we'll go from there, which is really strong.
Oftentimes I feel that when students come into the classroom, they feel like math isn't available to everybody, that they weren't necessarily born with gifts in math and therefore don't have the ability to learn it. But I find that if we work on giving students the building blocks of mathematics, if we teach them how to use these very, very basic tools, that the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I want you to stop.
He just makes math so much easier, because when I was in middle school, I used to hate math.
You do see those light bulbs go off and you hear students aghast at what they just learned or what they just saw. It's the most incredible feeling in the world. I mean, it gives me chills down my spine. I'm like, whoa, this is amazing.
Without him, I don't really think I'd be where I am today, because the way he teaches class is like no other teacher.
I definitely see a lot of myself in Tyler, and I think about what I needed when I was in school, and what I got and what I didn't get. And because I see so much of myself in Tyler, I try to give him the things that teachers didn't necessarily or weren't equipped with the skills to give me. I try to keep him growth mindset, because Tyler is someone who quickly picks up on concepts, but at the same time, oftentimes, Tyler equates speed and efficiency with proficiency, but those two things don't go together.
All right, what do we want to call this equation? We call this 1, 2, 3. Let's call it.
That's something that Tyler and I have been working on since day one, and we've found a lot of success in this kind of middle of the road, celebrating our successes, showing our work and our proficiency, while also slowing down and not being afraid to make mistakes.
He'll take time out of his day after school to sit with you one-on-one about any personal problems. So, you know, just to know that you have a teacher like that on your side, you know, even when you're going through rough times, it's always nice to know that you got a teacher like that. I would definitely talk to my math teacher. I feel like I could trust him 100%.
It's the energy we bring to mathematics, right?
No, I don't bring no energy to mathematics. I'm too smart.
Tyler is another student who, in first quarter, scored 100%. He showed mastery of all grade level standards, which is really, really amazing. It doesn't matter that they're from West Baltimore. It doesn't matter that their parents may have not gone to college. What does matter is that they have a teacher who wants them to be successful and who cares about them and who loves them. And we run with that, and it's been really, really amazing.
He is a temporal lobe here and here. This is just bone.
I want to be a neurosurgeon. What made you want to be a neurosurgeon?
When I graduated from medical school, I rotated. When you're an intern, you go on different services, and I went on neurosurgical service. And the head neurosurgeon there was very, very impressive guy. And so I was looking at that, thinking about, I wanted to do something that was hard. You know, I didn't want to take the easy road because I needed to do something that really grabbed my attention. If I couldn't be a neurosurgeon, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know if I'd want to be a doctor at all.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's bloody, right?
That's hard.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to be a surgeon. This is what surgery looks like.
I really wanted to see how tumors would, like how we could stop tumors from neurosurgery.
We can do surgery by taking out pieces of brain because we know whether they're involved in important function or not. And you can see that we removed his normal temporal lobe.
So, you know, it was actually a good experience to get to look around and see what he works on. I'm extremely competitive. I hate to lose. I mean, that just means that
I had a downfall and I need to bounce back. Everybody got somebody that's better than them, so it's nobody perfect in this world. My goal right now is to be better than that person, and then the next person, the next person. If you have nothing that motivates you, then you won't have anything to power you. And once you have nothing that powers you, you can't do anything. I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be the best at what I do.
Being a person in West Baltimore, it means I play inside or go to school. Like in my neighborhood, you have to know where you cannot go.
I found out that somebody was shot in front of my house that same day, and nobody can go into the house for like 3 hours until they remove the body. The drug dealers and fight for territory around there for some reason.
I'm very competitive.
The pressure's already on because the mile for all schools in Baltimore is college career ready. They get you straight ready for high school, and they keep telling you, you better get A's because that's going to affect what high school you go to. And the pressure's really on. My name is Princaya Sanders. I'm from Franklin Square Elementary Middle School, and I am 13 years old.
I'm really confident because people say I'm really smart. And that makes me want to work really hard to be even smarter, so they can say you're a genius one day. People will naturally assume I'm violent because I'm most likely taller than them. I'm taller than most of the boys in my class, most of the boys in my grade, and I'm big. I really don't like to fight unless I have to. Like if you hit me first, then I'm going to beat you up. So I don't like fighting, but if I have to, I'm going to, and I will win. I think about the boys after school, and school is all about school, so I think about school in school. So my brain has like a separation between outsiders and inside school. I promised myself, me, Princaya Sanders, I promised myself that education is first. Always going to be first. It shall be first.
Princaya,
how are you?
Today's a special day because I'm going to a hospital to meet the anesthesiologist.
14, awesome. We're going to the OR. So first we're gonna go down to the workroom. This red line here is to help the medics know which way to go when they bring patients in. Patients over here. So he was involved in a car crash, and the medics are gonna tell all the doctors here what the story is.
Meeting Dr. Fouché, an anesthesiologist, has really inspired me to pursue a career in anesthesiology.
And you can bring the
A
light
mentor
in.
has changed my life because it opened possibilities I didn't know I could have.
We walked in the operating
But now I want to be an anesthesiologist in an OR or ER or a regular surgery room.
So you had a great day, great morning today with Dr. Fouché?
Yes.
Yes? Pretty exciting?
Mm-hmm.
Does it make you feel like gotta study hard?
Yes.
Yes? To work in an OR?
Yes.
Yes?
Composite scores are important because they affect which high school you go to. Because in Baltimore, each school has a different score that you have to have to even think about getting into their school.
What excites you about just the thought of going on to high school?
What excites me about going to high school is new opportunities, new people to meet, new subjects, calculus.
You're ready for that though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, you're definitely ready.
Is there a penalty for guessing on the PSAT?
No. Guessed and leave it
Always guessed and then leave blank.
I don't get stressed out when I take tests because I usually study like a week in advance for them. My mom, she drilled it in my head to get good grades because good grades is the only thing that's really going to take you somewhere. When I opened up my letter, I found that I got into Western, which was my first choice.
I'm extremely proud of Princaya.
So Ms. Thurman, I got into Western. And,
Oh my goodness!
I'm really excited about it.
Congratulations! I'm so happy for you, and you deserve it. You so deserve it.
I know.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm happy because I got into Western, which is one of the top schools in Baltimore, and I'm very excited. Well, this year I'm going to be 16, so now I'm trying to figure out what to do. My mom works for a trucking company, privately owned. She leaves home at 4 a.m. I think my mom does want better for me because I've seen what she sacrificed, and I don't want to sacrifice the same things, so I have to get my education. I think an obstacle that would set me in the wrong path would be peer pressure, because it takes one moment to ruin your whole life, and I don't want that moment to happen for me. What I don't like about West Baltimore is it has a lot of boarded up houses, because most of them been vacant for a while, especially on my block. This is the first year that I'm taking the bus in the late rail to school. So I wake up at around 4 or 5 in the morning, because I have to leave by 6. So I'll get out at 6:30, walk up Saratoga to my 78 bus stop, take the 78 all the way down to the light rail. Taking a bus in light rail is actually pretty fun. I go to Western High School. It's an all-girls school. And I really like it because it's not what I expected it to be. It's actually better than what I expected. Like the principal has said, if you have no desire to go to college, you cannot be here. So the work ethic at Western, the teachers are amazing.
I think for a lot of young women who come to Western now.
So what happened that would create the need to go to Africa for labor? What happened?
They're able to kind of gain a sense of pride really quickly because they understand that the people around them really value their education and are invested in them.
When they went from Europe, Africa, America.
So that's the triangular trade,
Yeah.
and then remember the Middle Passage is from Africa to the Caribbean, and that was where you had the slaves on the ship. Yeah.
Students are given an opportunity as early as 9th grade to participate in unique experiences and to learn a lot about themselves that we don't think happens the same way or anywhere else.
Western compared to other high schools is we're actually pretty good because of our strict policies. You don't hear about students hitting teachers because our teachers aren't really that, they don't engage in conflict like that. Since people work so hard to come here, they're not gonna just throw it away. We came here for a reason, that's to learn, not fight a teacher. I feel like my classes are preparing me for college because they're hard, but they're fun in a way. In the second quarter of school, I did make honor roll. She made the whole trajectory for the rocket and how it's gonna get down to earth. People encouraged her to do it to take her mind off of her problems.
I didn't know all of that. You're teaching me something. I am Princea's biology teacher, as well as her coach for the Maryland Science Olympiad program.
Ida Lovelace, she's a 17th century mathematician.
Okay.
And she was pretty much one of the first computer programmers.
She's a wonderful student in class. She's been on my honor roll for the at least first 2 quarters of the school year, as well as she's on my wall of fame outside. Growing up in Baltimore itself, I do believe I'm a Baltimore native. Kemper's in a number of challenges. Princaya, what are some of your career aspirations, and how has my class or science, how is that helping you achieve those career aspirations?
My dream career is to be an anesthesiologist of shock trauma. Like if you can see yourself in a good place and there's a possibility that you can get there, you'll do anything to get there, which is what I'm doing.
So if she wants to become a doctor, then I wish and hope that she becomes a doctor.
Yeah, so the Europeans have all those different diseases.
In this class, I have an A+, a 99.77 in this class.
Princea's in my modern world history class, first period. She's really good at realizing that there are the connections to the past, and that's why society is kind of set up the way it is.
Europe,
but she's wonderful as a student, very focused. She's spot on. She always takes accountability and responsibility for her actions, and I think as a 9th grade student at 15, I think that's wonderful. That shows a really maturity on her part. Do you have any questions about what we're studying currently? The imperialism, is that?
The African. One thing I would like Joe Carter to fix about my neighborhood is the vacant houses, because they take down property value of my house.
Are you all excited about being here?
Yes.
Sometimes the elected officials, they already know the problems,
but they would love to hear some solutions you guys might have. You all think differently. You're a different generation. But let's go on in. Let's get in there.
I would tell Senator Jill Carter, I'm very proud to be here and to see it.
Hopefully, like, in about, 10 years maybe, that's when, your generation will be able to take the reins. And yesterday,
I admire about Jill Carter is that she went from West Baltimore to a senator's seat.
and here's why I'm here. With all of the things that are wrong, the only chance you have to really influence the pushing it into the right direction is to actually be in the room, to be in the place.
She's been successful here so far in her early days, and even just understanding that there are challenges that she's going to face, but that she's well equipped to overcome them. And so far, she's taken advantage of those opportunities, and she's worked with her teachers when she needs the help. And that's what makes the difference in somebody just getting in and those who are able to thrive. Our hope is that whatever she decides to do, not only is she ready to do them, but that she also understands that she's capable of achieving those goals.
My goal in high school is to make honor roll at least 4 times and get to a good college.
My name is Courtney Jacobs III. I'm 12 years old, and I like basketball. I want to become a surgeon, and I want to go to college. Miss Suskinsbury, my science teacher, she inspires me to do better things and things that's gonna help you and other people, and also like to always do your homework, and she pushes me to do my best and try hard and everything. I am doing good in science. I'm excelling with an A in science also. My plan for the future is to finish high school, go to college, finish college, and become a surgeon.
What's most important to me is school, because I know that's gonna be my career in the future. So school is definitely what's most important to me. I'm very determined. I don't like to give up at all, because it makes me feel like a loser. I want to be a winner, so I don't give up. I think that I control my destiny. When something isn't going the way that I would choose it, I would try to figure out a way to change that. My one wish would definitely be to get out of the city and go somewhere else better, and a better place for my family and my little brothers to grow up and have a better place to stay.
Looking back over the last 3 years, I see that I've changed so much while I was in middle school. Here are some ways I have changed. I have become more involved in my community. I have become more open-minded, and I also have become more experienced in science. I'm setting higher expectations for myself, saying that I'm completing my tests, getting better grades on my tests, like in science. I have an A in science right now. I would say I'm a very self-confident person, and I believe in myself a lot. If you don't believe in yourself, or if you don't do it, then nobody will. I am hoping my education can take me beyond West Baltimore so that I can be successful in life and accomplish my dream. I'll be going to Green Street Academy for high school, and I'm very excited. I was very happy that I got reaccepted into Green Street, because that was the school that I wanted to go to. I believe Green Street is the best match for me because it's a great school. They have great programs, and I know everyone there.
I was lost. Who's got it?
High school is different from middle school because I would say we have a lot more responsibility.
I have 4 Z's, I'm gonna take one away.
We get more independence because we're not babied anymore by our teachers. We have different teachers, different class settings, and stuff like that. So we get more independence, and we have to find our own way in a sense.
He's a role model for our young boys, and so it's just interesting to see his transformation from this sheltered baby into this like blooming, graceful young man who is an ambassador for his school community.
I've been thinking a lot about college. I'm not actually sure about which college I would like to attend yet, but I have been thinking a lot about it and the different choices I can make and the different places I could go. I have actually a lot of A's this year. Very proud of myself for having all A's every class. I've definitely matured and grew up from my middle school self and just became more, like, I would say, wiser and more aware of what I have to do to make it in life and get to the next level. I would definitely say I like being with friends and just having a good time with people. I'm definitely a social person, but I don't have a problem with being alone either. So it goes hand in hand. Like it's easy for me to find a group of friends and just vibe with them, but it's also easy for me to lay back and stay to myself too.
The rules here. So you took the sum of these two numbers, which equals zeros, right?
This year I'll say.
Okay. What do you mean by bring down?
I've been having a lot of success in math mainly because of my teacher. Mr. Carter. I got a 92 on my algebra midterm. I was pretty nervous about it, but I was proud when I got my score back.
Okay, so let's think about the rules and ask ourselves if we broke any of the rules. So that's gone from our equation.
What makes Mr. Carter a good teacher, I would say, is his personality and it's just a positive attitude.
To me, Courtney is prototype growth mindset. Courtney comes in and he's ready to work every day, and he knows that work is a product or a function of the time that you put in. But he is a student who's willing to put in whatever it takes to get there. So I can rely on him every single day to come in, sit down, read the objective, and get ready to master that objective. Sometimes it takes one try, sometimes it takes 10 tries, but no matter how many tries it takes, he's the type of student that puts in the work to get there.
Mr. Carter has a great way of explaining how his class goes and the work that we do in there, and he just makes it easier for everyone.
Courtney is actually one of my top students. I do standards-based grading, meaning I don't collect any homework or classwork, so all of their grades are based strictly on what they've learned. And in that, they get to reassess for anything they haven't yet mastered. Courtney is a student in the first quarter who scored 100%. He mastered every standard, which was amazing.
This year, I've been leaning towards studying the brain and neurology, stuff like that, because I've been interested in learning about how people think and the reasons behind them, and yeah, I've just been really interested in learning more about it, so I've been leaning towards that career.
One of the things we're going to talk about this afternoon that involves surgery is epilepsy.
Today, I've met a neurosurgeon.
He is a temporal lobe.
Not a lot of people can say that, and that's a big thing for me because I have a lot of interest in the brain and studying the brain and stuff.
Here's the temporal lobe intact, and here is the temporal lobe. The tip of it is removed.
When we was with Dr. Eisenberg, I was interested in how he explained that the brain is very important.
And you tested memory, and you knew that this temporal lobe would support memory. So you knew that was safe because the patient would retain memory function just using this temporal lobe.
When people have seizures or tumors in their brain, the different things you could do to take the tumor out or stop the seizures.
So we took out the front part.
I hope to meet him again and tell him my experiences, hopefully the new research that he's come up with, and just have another conversation with him. I know what's wrong and I know what's right, so my decision will always be to go right.
He definitely has a very strong moral compass. He also pays attention to others. So he has a lot of empathy when he notices that something is happening in the community that might have a negative impact on one of his classmates.
I want Courtney to understand that everything that he wants is available to him if he's willing to put in the work. I want to see him be successful in every aspect of his life.
I always tell myself, if you're not on top, then someone else is. So you have to try your best to get there, to get to your spot.
Davioin Hill. I'm 12 years old and I'm in the 7th grade. I believe the world doesn't determine what you have to do. You determine what you want to do. So, like, if you want to get into a good college, you're gonna have to work really hard for that. A lot of people are encouraging me to be a doctor. I'm kind of interested in coding a little bit, so I have to like choose between one of those or probably mash them all together and try and find one big idea. So I'm trying to still choose what I'm trying to be. The wrong decision I could make is dropping out of school, because then that would ruin my entire life.
So no one in my family is really working in the medical field, so do you still think I can pursue that dream?
Of course. So there always has to be a first, right? Okay, and you most definitely can be a first. And becoming a doctor is thinking about a lifelong profession. It's not just thinking about it as a job. It's thinking about it as you want to help people, and you want to help people in a meaningful way. If you keep that in focus, that I'm doing this to help people, then there's no reason why you can't become a doctor. And then you'll become the first.
My wish for myself is to keep on doing good progress in school and then wind up like my sister in high school now, but doing even better. My wish for someone else is for my mom, so she can start believing in other people and herself again. And then that will give her the courage to boost even more, and then she'll start doing better.
I am in 8th grade now, and the start of 8th grade, like in the beginning of the year, it would start off fine at first until later on when you start getting comfortable in the week, more work starts building up. So then, you know, the teachers realize that you're being stressed out.
So what number are you substituting and where'd you get this number from?
But then I was able to overcome that challenge, so I was able to keep on doing my work, and it's still a lot going on now. So much to worry about. It's going great.
Okay.
It's going good.
Are you excited about this high school process?
I'm excited, then again nervous.
All right, what excites you about it?
I'm gonna meet a lot of new people. I'm nervous that those people might not like me a lot, or maybe I just won't fit in.
Oh, what's not to like? What's not to like? Everybody loves you. So have you seen the high school application form yet?
I'm worried about high school choice and my composite score. I want to get into a good high school, and I think I'll be able to do that because looking at my 7th grade year, I did good, and so hopefully this year I'll get enough good grades to go to the high school I want to.
On the application, they do ask you for your top 5 choices. How are you going to plan to fill this out?
I chose Poly as my first one. The high school I'm gonna get into is probably gonna impact the rest of my life.
Davioin is focused solely on getting into Baltimore Polytechnic, and Poly is his major dream. He's a young man that I think anybody who worked with him at all would be proud of him. And you wonder, are they born with some kind of soul guide or guardian angel who just keeps them going somehow? Because it is an absolute mystery how you can come out of tough circumstances with that drive for academics, with that kind of self-confidence, with an imagination, and be able to navigate all these challenges and to be successful.
I'm going to Poly. So I feel like all my hard work paid off. I definitely work hard for this. I called my mom, told her that I got into Poly. She was like, "Congratulations, son." I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to Poly." Am I ready for Poly? So or so, but I can do it. I wake up at like 6:30 in the morning and I try to leave by 7 o'clock. And I take the 80 downtown and get off at Lexington by the light rail. So then I take the light rail all the way to Cold Spring Lane, and from the time I leave home, I say about an hour or 45 minutes. I'm mostly a positive guy. I'd like to think of the bright side of things. Like, I don't go down walking down my street thinking, oh God, this guy's gonna mug me. But, you know, I'm just like, I am still aware of my surroundings, but yeah, I like to think of myself as safe, but then again, I'm really not. There tends to be drug dealers here and there. I think the one thing that could possibly prevent me from going to college is the area that I live in, my neighborhood, because my area is dangerous at times. I'm in the 9th grade. I'm 14 years old, and I go to Baltimore Polytechnic High School. The new Davioin is a more energetic and open-minded person. The new Davioin is more proactive, more positive, willing to take on a challenge. I've realized that if I can make any negative thing into like what I want it to be, then I could like conquer it with ease. My year has been a very new experience that was like kind of hard for me to get used to. And you want me to say the reasons why? Mostly because in middle school, you could get away with a lot of things, but in high school, like, you can't trip up.
That's a freshman thing. So freshmen really do struggle with that. They struggle with going from a middle school that's very structured to poly, which is very unstructured. So we treat this school as a college. So we expect the same levels of excellence from our students as college professors do.
I'm taking honors modern world history, honors algebra 1. I'm taking English 1. I'm taking health ed this semester, but I took physical education last semester. And I'm taking Chinese, as well as biology and foundations of computer science, yeah. It's pretty much a B in every one. The hardest thing was getting used to homework. I tried that procrastinative stuff that I did in middle school and bring it over to poly, and what it did, it attacked my grade really hard. And so that caused me to want to be able to work even harder, because if I do procrastinate any longer, I'm not gonna make it through this school.
The students here at Poly are the best of the best, because we're considered what's a magnet school. So we can take any student from anywhere in the city that applies. So they have to apply, they have to have a certain composite score from middle school, and they have to, you know, be motivated to be part of the Poly family.
I consider myself a problem solver, because if I'm getting through Poly right now, I'm most definitely a problem solver. If I can go through these math equations and figure out what code goes to where, then yeah, I'm solving. The good grades I'm getting, at the start of the semester, they weren't bad, but they weren't so good as they are now. And then as I kept going, I kept like pushing and pushing, because Poly really hits you hard. And this is the funny part, they said it only gets harder the next year.
Our students, they're very motivated to get things done. And sometimes that turns inward, where they're focused so much on themselves and their own success that they forget that there's, you know, 1,500 other students here that are also going through the same things. And sometimes they forget to make those connections.
I think, yeah, I had a little disadvantage coming from West Baltimore to come into the school, but it was the help that I got from West Baltimore. It was more than enough for me to be able to conquer Poly. Well, I'm not gonna say conquer Poly, I definitely did not yet, but like, I can do it. Like, I see it as a challenge, like as a motivator, instead of like something that's holding me down.
Most of our graduates go to universities, and those are 4-year institutions. Our graduates are the best of the best in Maryland, in Baltimore City, and they really show it. So you're taking computer science right now, and that we're the first school in Baltimore City that requires all of its freshmen to take some sort of computer science. And you're gonna go through things like programming languages, setting up websites, making little games, and things like that. And then what I teach is a survey course about engineering. So we take freshmen who come from middle school and had no experience with engineering. We teach them how to think like engineers, how to problem solve like engineers, how to design and build machines. It's a lot of really hardcore stuff, but it's really, really fun.
Sounds
fancy. It's a lot of fun stuff. So do you have any projects that you want to work on?
Robotics sounds neat. My brother's in it, so I was thinking about doing it with him.
Who's your brother?
Darius.
Oh yeah, I know Darius. Yeah. Why don't you just come show up, man? Come on.
So I went to Poly. I graduated in 2012, and the curriculum here prepared me so well for college.
How did you make it through all the homework and stuff?
You definitely have the support. The teachers want to help you. If you surround yourself with hardworking people, you're eventually going to be hardworking. So when you build that really strong group of friends, you can ask for help with homework. That support system, not only at home, but when you're here 7 or 8 hours a day, where people are going to, encourage you to do your best.
Does it get harder every year?
That is a very interesting question. If you like science, you'll be able to manage it well, but also a big part of senior year is the habits that you made freshman, sophomore, and junior year. If you built those strong habits, it won't be as difficult as if you hadn't built those strong habits. So it's good to start early.
Can we write the lactate? I'm a very curious person when it comes to learning more stuff about science.
How do we eat things up?
Well, once they add the lactate.
Just put your test tubes right in these racks and then put it in the hot water bath for however long you decided.
This is gonna be 70. So we did an experiment to differentiate different types of milk. And so we had cow milk, soy milk, and rice milk. And what we did was we measured the glucose in each of those milk. We dipped the shrimp in the milk, and the color square on the shrimp would change color. And then we would use that to measure how much glucose is inside of the milk. I'm thinking about what procedures I gotta do and what conclusion can I make.
Yo, we was some real bad kids.
I've never been to Annapolis before. It was definitely a new experience.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How's everything going? Have you all been down here before?
Yeah.
Senator Jill Carter. She comes from a long line of public servants.
Her father is Walter P. Carter, and he was almost like the Martin Luther King of Baltimore.
Really?
Yeah, he would do sit-downs and stuff, and he did a whole speech.
Wow. Did you know that before you came, or did you do research on her?
We did research on
Okay, good. You got to do your research, your due diligence all the time. Well, let's go on in. Let's head in there.
So today you'll get to see the Senate body in action, and that's where we're going right now. We're going over the Senate floor.
It was pretty fancy. When we walked in and sat in, I was like, whoa, what is this place?
A prosecutor has a lot of power.
Do you feel like you've followed in your father's footsteps?
The reason that I was even created was to make sure that I carried on the work that he was trying to accomplish. And so that's my motivating force that drives everything that I do in life. And I actually think it's critically important that that's my foundation here in the legislature, because I see everything through the lens of equity, equality, racial equity, fairness, justice.
When I met Jill Carter, I was really impressed because she has a lot of power in her hands, and mostly she wants to use that power for young, educated people. And she wants those young people to change the world along with her.
1, 2, 3.
Senator Carter.
All right.
Say West Baltimore.
West Baltimore in the house. All right. Very nice.
This is a good visual.
I'm not the underestimated kid anymore. I'm more like, the peer you want to ask questions to solve a problem or something. I'm only a freshman and they're already prepping me for college.
3.
West Baltimore!